Holy shit. Hey, dweebs, welcome to the real world. I'm tyraverified, and if you're watching, you're verified by association. Yes, actually, I do dream of labor, and it's a nightmare. As I previously commented on another fellow small YouTuber's channel, hey Imani, we don't dream of labor, kiddos. I personally have more fulfilling dreams, such as me losing all of my teeth or falling down a flight of stairs in public. As someone who's about to graduate from not any type of master's, but a top master's program, and about to work a 9-to-5 job, I've been thinking about this topic for the past couple of years. After the tweet, "I don't dream in labor" became viral, and the sweeping of "I don't dream in labor" YouTube videos.
Listen, I don't know why I keep on saying I don't dream in labor. It's I don't dream of labor. You got it.
Became recently popularized. It forced me to think about my values and whether I am actually opposed to labor, and if so, what type of labor are we talking about? One of the best classes that I ever took during my undergrad as a sociology major was work, labor, and citizenship. I learned about the various modes of production and the theory of historical materialism. I know I'm throwing a lot of jargon, let's break them down. Asiatic, slavery/ancient, feudalism, and capitalism, where we're currently at. In all of these modes, labor was very much, and still is, existent. Let's not get it twisted, okay? All of these time periods, including capitalism, are focused in on who produces the means of production versus who owns the means of production. So if we're looking at it through historical materialism lens, the forces and relations of production, and if we're just going to talk in layman's terms, the haves versus the have-nots. Let's be real, no matter what side of the spectrum you are watching this video, working does repress our inner desires as human beings. If you're working at a top 4 consulting agency, I don't think you can honestly tell me that when you were a seed, when you were a youngin, at 6 years old, while you're playing with your Thomas the Choo Choo Train playset, that you got a desire in your heart to lead a top 4 consulting agency. I don't believe that, and I don't think I will ever believe that. I know when I was a kid, I had more imaginative pursuits. My whole entire life, people have been telling me steps as to how I can be quote-unquote successful. I mean, what is the point of taking advice from somebody when you don't desire anything from their life? I want to take advice from people I look up to, not people that I feel sorry for. Oh, you want me to go to college? Well, aren't you depressed? Don't you hate your life? Don't you hate your wife and kids? All right. I see right now that the point of life isn't getting great grades and then getting what society deems as the perfect job. Because at the end of the day, people who are working at these top jobs with these 6-figure salaries are extremely unhappy. Thank God for the years 2020 and 2021. It gave us a chance to finally sit the fuck down and figure out where our priorities actually lied. And I took advantage of the time, and I realized that I didn't know myself at all as I was going through academia. I was just listening to people around me tell me what is good and what is bad. And now that I'm at the end and I've gained all this wisdom, I want nothing to do with it. That's the issue with labor. It's like completely stratified. And depending on which level you're at, you'll be treated better than somebody who says, let's say, takes out your trash, but we actually need the person who takes out the trash more than the top CEO. That's how I look at it. And it's so crazy because beforehand I wanted to work, right? I wanted to get a good job and I wanted to put that little update on my LinkedIn, and now I couldn't care less. The veil is lifted. I work in this job for 60 years and then I get to retire. Maybe I get to retire early because I got a good position. And what I can say about my life is that I ran up the rat race and I lost my youth in the process. Too often when you get into these positions and you're in the bureaucracy, it's very hard to see outside of that. And what I've been seeing as a trend in our society is that some of the most intelligent people, some of the most bright people end up in these positions that take out their soul, and that brain, that insight could have been used in another area of our society, but a lot of these kids have been channeled and pigeonholed into these positions, and I don't think it's by coincidence. When you're a child, you're not thinking about, I want to be in a business suit and have a briefcase and have my wife and kids. It's kind of be a little bit miserable, but it'll be okay since I'm bringing in a 6-figure salary and now I'm a high value man. It does not matter how hardcore capitalist versus communist you are. You may want scenario A. You're sitting on your couch all day, eating chips and watching Netflix. Or scenario B, you may actually want to focus on your talents and gifts throughout the day so that you can achieve the state of flow on a daily basis. I cannot define what you are fulfilled in, just as you cannot define what I'm fulfilled in. But I see that the things that bring me the most happiness as an adult are things that I used to do for free fitty as a child. And I'm not just talking about a state of flow because positive psychology endorses it. I'm talking about the state of flow so you can feel sane, so you can feel like you have some sense of purpose. You may be fulfilled for a certain amount of time because, hey, it's the big man on the block and our society does value people with capital. Economic capital, you feel me? But there's more than just economic capital. There's identity capital, there's social capital, which sure, you can try to gain those through your 9-to-5, but is that authentically your identity? Your job is your identity now? What happened to you playing Thomas the Choo-Choo Train when you were younger? I'm just saying. But no, in your 9-to-5, you have to put on a suit because of the societal expectation and conditioning of business professional attire, and some of y'all may have actually been conditioned to think that you've been given a prize when you can wear your favorite pair of jeans during casual Friday. How sad. And you wear a neutral face and devote 8 out of your 24 hours a day to an establishment that you're giving more labor to as opposed to the economic capital you receive in return. You're getting played. Here are some irrefutable facts. We need to work to pay our bills, correct? We need to work to pay our bills. As far as I know, I'm paying bills and I have to work to pay them. Or you can come from a trust fund family and your family will be able to support you and you get to live on the Upper East Side and just drink all day and you don't have to work and you get to focus in on your passion projects. And when you're tired of that type of life, you move to Dumbo, Brooklyn, and you're trying to find yourself and you probably dye your hair pink. But guess what? We all don't have that type of privilege. So I need to work to pay my bills. And if you're watching this video, you probably also need to work to pay your bills if you are of age. If you are not of age, run now if you can. Our bills consist of food, shelter, water, and enjoyment to repress our actual emotions of being citizens of the real world. Although there are numerous ways to look at this issue, we can all agree that we need to work to gain capital to pay our bills. Not a matter of want, need, or desire, but that is what is expected of us at the end of the month. I'm just saying, time is ticking for this Wi-Fi bill. But as I stated prior, I do dream of labor. However, it's a nightmare. I dream of a life where I can frolic in nature, soak up the sun's rays, write about my qualms in my journal, record and edit videos, listen to music, and eat all the strawberries I want, but they have to be in season though. However, in this society, in order for me to live the life that I so desire, I must monetize the hobbies that I have cherished as a young girl in order to pay the rent, the bills, the food, etc. I must have my finances and sanity in check. I don't live on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I'm a girl who lives in the US, if you couldn't tell. But I must propose the argument after I take one philosophy class. But I dream of a life where I write and edit and do all the fun things in the middle. But in order for me to achieve this life, I need to monetize my hobbies. Do I technically dream of labor? What is labor? What is labor? Vocabulary.com defines labor as any piece of work that is undertaken or attempted and productive work, especially physical work done for wages. Although many may think of labor to be manual, soul-crushing work, which this is definitely labor, I also think labor should be taken in a literal sense as to you completing work, being productive in pursuit of economic capital or any other desired outcome. So under this definition, creating art and selling it on Etsy, writing a book and publishing it is a form of labor. Working as a waitress, creating YouTube videos, or even being a stay-at-home mom, because it's not only economic capital, it's any of your desired outcomes. So you want your child to turn out right. Like Saweetie said in Icy Girl, always making moves, man, that's how I keep my sanity. Maybe it's that or my Capricorn moon, but I do in fact thrive off of being productive. I literally feel horrible sitting inside and doing nothing after a day full of potential and possibilities. After I watched the Jelly Bean video, I no longer want to let my life pass by me. I dream of labor, but it's the labor that I choose to do out of inner enjoyment rather than fear and anxiety of having to pay my bills at the end of each month. I told my mom about this yesterday and she was so sad. Here's how the conversation went. I strongly dislike school and work. Why do you say that, Ty? Why do you say that? It's tearing my soul. Yup. How can I find more enjoyment writing versus all the classes I took in one semester? Well, if you didn't want to go to school, you could have just stayed home in high school. Says who? I didn't have much of a choice with my situation. You remember that? Also, listen, if you did not go to school, you would not have been able to read and write the way that you can right now. I feel like I read and wrote a lot better than before I went to school or college in the classic sense. Now I write like a standard academic and it sucks. Fuck this. Yeah, I feel you. I want to live in a society where the first question I'm asked when I meet someone isn't, what do I do for a living? But how did I spend my day? I want to live in a society where I have to crush my spirit in order to sustain myself and my cat. I don't want to give her tap water anymore. But until then, come along with me for this journey. Tyraverified, meet the real world. It's okay, Sage. We're gonna make it through.